Hello, hello. We are having technical difficulties here, so just bear with me a second. My goodness. Looks like we're on Facebook. I don't know if we're multi-streaming today. So hi everyone, as you're all coming in and I'm having technical difficulties and still making adjustments. My goodness. Oh man. Oh, so if I go blurry for a minute, it's just because I'm backing up and coming forward. Let's see here. Sorry for the clicking, everyone. Hi, John. Oh my gosh. Hi, Debbie. Oh my gosh, John and Debbie are here. So I'm just like reading and I'm clicking all at the same time. It's crazy. Hi, Tammy. Yeah, well, we're just going to deal with this however we deal with this. I might need to move a light or something like that. But welcome everyone, and I have to apparently quit moving, or it's not. Sorry, everything has gone wonky, crazy here, and I'm trying. My camera wasn't working, so we had a little bit of a meltdown when it wasn't working. So hi everyone, I'll start putting up hellos and things like that. So there's Tammy and John and Debbie and Angela. If I didn't say your name, I'm sorry. Richard's here. Everybody just is saying hello to everybody. But yeah, so I'm so sorry that I don't know if it was late or what it was, but I'm still, technology is great when it works properly, and it was not doing that. So let's get everything set. Oh my goodness. Thank you all for being here and bearing with me. My gosh, I need a tech person to just run this thing while I'm trying to do this whole thing. It's crazy. Hi, Janet. Welcome. Hey, the gang's all here. Hail, hail. I love it. I love it. Yeah, and it's amazing because I have such a great, what I consider such a great plan. And what's amazing is that it's so simple what I'm going to go over and what I'm going to talk about and sort of teach tonight. And so it's amazing to me that everything is going weirdo wonky, and I need to turn off a light. So I'm going to this is going to be really bad, but I'm going to turn off my camera for just 1 second. So bear with me, those of you, and then we will jump right in. I'm back. Oh my gosh, I had to turn off that light. It was like blaring at me, but I'm in sort of Zoom mode or I'm on online mode, so I don't have anything below. So, wow. Welcome. Let's see. Oh, Angela says, I'm getting into the festive season. Oh, you put the tree up already before Thanksgiving? That's incredible. Oh my gosh. I don't know about all that. Wow, that's nice. I like it. I like it. Oh, well, everybody should be. We're all getting into festive season, I guess, after I started seeing Christmas along with Halloween stuff out there. It was really quite something. So, welcome everyone. We're just going to settle in. Thank you for settling in with me. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Happy end of your week. And welcome to TGIF Insight for the Curious and Enlightened. For our podcast listeners, because I've got this on a podcast playlist. And so, for our podcast listeners, or if you're new here listening from wherever you are, welcome. I'm your host, Debbie Tatel from Spirit Light Insight. I am a clairvoyant, an energy healer, and spiritual teacher focused on helping you develop and use your natural psychic abilities in your daily life. So, you don't have any. Oh, I see. That's right. So Angela's in New Zealand. She says she doesn't celebrate. Don't you have any kind of Thanksgiving kind of a thing? Nothing? Well, that probably makes sense. But anyway, it's here. But what a crazy week energetically here. I don't know, what were you all experiencing? I want to hear some of your experiences. I had the weirdest week where we had the time change, which I actually love this time of year because I get to sleep in for, an hour, or I seem to get an hour, but my body like adjusts to the time change kind of but up to 3 weeks beforehand. So I was already kind of sleeping late and things like that. And so all of that was happening in my world. And then the time change came and suddenly I was up at the normal time and then staying up, in just way too long. It was very, very strange. I was just staying up and just not being able to get to sleep. And I don't know if anybody else experienced that. Tammy says she's tired and doing lots of laundry. Wow. Yeah. Laundry. Always. Always. You know what? We must do that adulting thing. I don't know, but adulting just seems to be relatively, it escapes me sometimes, that whole adulting thing. But this week, personally, other than that weird sort of sleep pattern, I guess you would call it, because I was getting up in the middle of the night and it was just very, very strange here. But the overall theme in my readings that I noticed across the board was that everyone was doing some kind of ancestral healing and delving into and I'm not even talking about past lives, because that's one thing, but there's also our ancestral and genetic line. And I was noticing in all of the readings that it was coming up in one form or another. And so I thought that was a super interesting thing. And part of that is we can go through a grieving process. We can go through just sort of things were coming up and out that have been passed down from line to line, from generation to generation in families, overall, which I just thought that was super interesting. Along with that was, again, so we had the time change and people not being able to adjust. And there's all kinds of different strange things, going on. But the truths are starting to come out at that ancestral level from things that were passed down, and also, let's say, the karmic level as well. So I've been talking about karma for weeks and weeks, and lots of karma talk. But it's super interesting that this has just started to come up in readings. And I don't guide the readings. I let people's spirit show me where things are. Hello, Corporate Mindfulness Connection. Welcome. Thank you. I don't know who that is, so perhaps we'll figure it out. But they're on Facebook books, so well, welcome. But there's a lot of truth coming out that. Oh, hey, Jim. Okay. Now I get, okay. Sorry. It took me a minute. I know exactly who it is. Welcome, Jim. Thanks for coming. Oh my gosh. So there's all these truths coming out And actually, oh wow, wait, Jim, Jim asked me a question, and I never, oh gosh, I never got back to him. Let me look and see if I have my notes here. He asked me, what are all the clairs? Like clairvoyance, clear seeing. There's clairsentience, clear feeling, clear audience, clear hearing, clear cognizance, and that knowingness. I've seen other lists of the clairs, what we're calling the clairs. Clair just means clear in French. So let's just be clear that that's what clair is. So we can have clear touch, clear feeling, clear all kinds of different things. So there's no, let's say, real um, hard and fast. The psychic abilities are clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, precognition, into, even though it doesn't have clair in the let's say in the name. So, but lots of, hopefully that answered your question, Jim. And we could chat about that another time. But all these truths are coming out. And in fact, I'm a truth magnet. I think I've said that before, where truth just comes to me for whatever reason, however it comes to me. And it's very, very strange how it comes. It just seems to appear in a conversation. Things come up with people, and they're, oh, that's they're connecting with their truth, right? But I have one really fun psychic validation story about truths coming out, because that's what clairvoyance is all about. Clear seeing what is there. Okay. So as I said, I'm a truth magnet. And I had a client who, it was very interesting. They signed up for a 90-minute session and then had to leave. And so I sort of said, hey, you know what, if you need a 15-minute tune-up, just give me a ring. And they reached out to me the next day and said, oh my gosh, we got this sort of new internet provider. And when we turned it on, everything went like what I just had this visceral reaction to it. And could you just read that energy? What was it that happened? And I said, sure, of course I'll read that. So I started reading, and it went to a place that I didn't expect, which is I saw sort of this. Well, first of all, I saw a new hack uh, where we're all being hacked. And I'm not telling you this to scare you, but that is what's going on in the world, that other parts of the world are, coming in and doing that, right? But so I saw that, but then I also saw this kind of bug or this malware in the whole thing. And I said, you're very sensitive to energy. And so this is what you were picking up on. It was very interesting, but I saw it, and she was like, okay, that's great. I'm just gonna, because I just said, be aware of that. So I saw the little bug, and I've done this before for people in that do software development and things like that. And so that's not the first time I've had stuff come up. But about a half an hour later, the client sent me an audio message, and they were laughing, and they said, you are not going to believe this. We just got a message from the internet provider saying that they found a major malware in their system. And I don't know, what happened. She didn't tell me, if they were shutting it down or what they were doing. But isn't that interesting? And that was such a fun kind of valid, I mean, not fun that there was malware in the system, but that they found it, and these things just start coming out. So she knew, and however she dealt with it on her end. So the validation part, that's fun. That's fun. That's nice. That's all 100% ego, right? When I read, my validation comes from you being able to heal yourself, and the words, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. That's my validation. The other part is just kind of fun to know and hear, because it is about seeing what is there from neutral, from a place of, not being scared of it, just looking and saying, wow, you know what? I see this big thing going on. Okay, now I'm aware of it, and then being able to share that with somebody. So it's just information. Yeah. And so when then we get the validation for that information, that's a whole nice thing that does happen along the way. But did anybody so have you ever done that where you see something that's off? Do you go into fear, or are you in neutral about it? Yeah. And since all of this is kind of leading toward we're meandering toward protecting our space. Yeah. We're going to that place where everybody is an empath. That's where the show's going today, is we're going to talk about being sensitive to energy and things like that. And we sort of started this last week with psychic techniques to protect our space, in a sense, using gratitude and appreciation. And I'm wondering if anybody sort of practiced that, or how that went for you. I'm working on creating that as a standalone for everyone, so that you can have that for yourself. Just to be able to access it. Yeah. So I'm just curious if anybody practiced that, because today we're going back into our psychic toolbox, and we're gonna add some things. Yeah. So that's always fun. So my goal each week is to offer you a different perspective, but I also want to hear your experience, because everybody has different experiences in our lives, in our spaces, and things like that. And so our tools that we use, our psychic abilities, the way we move about the world, the awareness that we bring in, all of that is tied together with our experiences. That's why I always ask, kind of, what's your experience? How are you doing with various things? So Tammy says, definitely looking at situations and people with more gratitude. That's awesome. And did you find, Tammy, that you were able to communicate with them more comfortably, or how was that for you? Because it really, I practice what I preach. So there's that. But it is really nice when we start to see the gratitude and appreciation. I had some people really help me out this week, and I was very, very touched by all of their actions and their help and all of that. And so I was working on that as well. Oh, this is interesting. So Ming saw a sad video and practiced less resistance, and I respect their journey. And it was less taking on their stuff. That's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm glad that you're here to hear this one as well, because that is true. When we begin to see that it's someone else's journey, not in, let's say, ignoring it or not helping people or not giving to people or any of those kinds of things, but in the sense of finding a more neutral way of looking at it, and then working with the energy. So gosh, that's a great job. Super great to see that, because I get affected by videos, and it really brings up a lot of emotion, and I have to remember that frequently. So Tammy said, it's a hard week, but they understand. Have to get over a few things and catch up on sleep and eating. Yes. You had a very hard week, and sending you lots of love for your little baby lady. So I'm going to say that out loud. So you catch up, and you just enjoy this space today as a healing. So yeah, and Angela's saying 100%. We are with you, Tammy. Completely with you. So today we are discussing empaths sensitives and offering a technique that is the secret to not taking on or becoming the effect of someone else's energy. Ming already read the energy basically and alluded to it in her comment. But that doesn't surprise me because everybody that is on here is very psychic and very intuitive and beats me to the punch routinely. So that's what's happening sort of here. But in our ending meditation, you'll have a space to release energy of others and experience kind of a fun twist on a psychic technique that I teach and use called body of glass, which is also known as a body of light or body of non-resistance. So resistance is actually one of the reasons that empaths often experience the energy. And by the way, I'm going to use empath and sensitive interchangeably. So when I talk about an empath, I'm talking about people who are sensitive as well. So they often experience the energy and emotions of others as being painful, or that, there might be some bad energy. And it's very interesting. I hope you'll see it a little bit differently by the time we're through here. Not that there's not energy that's, not in alignment with us, or, we puts us on edge. That's not what I'm talking about here. But this is a space that we can all work kind of together. So, and send my love back to Albert. I sent him an email or a message on Facebook. Can I say that? Well, I just did, but sending love back to everybody. And let's see, Angela, I tend to do that. My children get cross with me. It's hard for me to switch off. Yes, it is. It is hard. But here's what, so that is your natural ability, Angela. And you know what? You don't have to switch it off, but when you're picking up everybody else's energy, there is a way. So that gratitude and appreciation meditation from last week that we did at the end will actually help you own your space. So it's not about turning it off. You don't want to force it away. It's a superpower. We're going to talk about that. But empaths, sensitives, highly have a high ability to feel the energy of others. And of course, that's everybody on here or who are going to listen to this later that actually get past the beginning of my computer woes today. I don't know what that's about. So, so we all have this natural ability to intuitively feel and other people's emotions and energy. And unfortunately, sometimes we also take on that energy of others, right? I talked about in another show about unconsciously being influenced by someone else's thoughts, moods, feelings, or energy, right? We can be very influenced by that because we're so sensitive. And sometimes we're not quite sure what is our energy and what is not our energy. That's the important part here. It's not about that we're an empath or sensitive. We are that. And probably extra that. Yeah. So the thing to do is to recognize that. Empaths and all of us tend to process and take on other people's feelings, emotion, and energy. We are natural healers. And one of the reasons that we take on the energy is because we recognize when we sense somebody that is in pain. Yeah, if we're walking down the street, sometimes we just sense that person. Right? Tammy says she gets influenced, directly recognized, and give it back. Yeah. But it can, yeah. And so if it's not your energy, it is absolutely, you can say, thank you for showing me that. Thank you for moving that energy over. Thank you so much. But here it is, right? It's their journey, just like Ming said earlier. Yeah. Sometimes we feel or sense energies we don't like. because it doesn't feel good. It might be male energy in a female space or female energy in a male space. It can be that subtle. Yeah. Richard can also usually sense when someone is telling the truth. Yes. Truth, lie. I actually teach in my clairvoyant development how to discern the truth from a lie. That's fun. Yeah. That's a fun one. Well, one of the reasons that I've been bringing all this up in particular now is that during this time of year, it is very common for people, whether they consider themselves empaths or not, to become easily overwhelmed by the energy of the holidays, whether it's family, whether it's the stress of traveling, whether it is, buying the perfect gift, cooking the perfect meal. I don't know anybody that doesn't have a certain amount of stress during the holiday season. Yeah. And so I bring this up. That's why I'm kind of doing all of this, because empaths get particularly hit with energy or feel lots of energy, and you may need some more space for yourself during this time. There's parties and family and shopping, and they know that they're supposed to be fun, right? But they're often not. I mean, I've gone out to go shopping and been having a ball, and I'm looking at the lights and all the decorations and all the things, kind of going on. And then out of the blue, like suddenly I'm like overwhelmed with energy because I was paying attention to so much outside of me that I forgot to protect my space by being in it. Yeah. And so then I go through stress and, have to get out of there. But the holiday time, all of this stuff is magnified for all the empaths out there. And sometimes it even feels at times like others are pushing their energy on us. Thanks, Tammy. Check back later. But sometimes it feels like other people are pushing their energy. Has anybody ever experienced that? Like the feeling that somebody was pushing their energy and you just wanted to push back? And here is the reality is that most people don't know how to own their space and energy. You all are taking steps to do that. But most people, like a lot of empaths, will even they don't know how to own their space and energy, so they want to isolate at home, right? People don't know where their space ends. So Tom is asking, let's see, why is it people who know what bothers you do those things to upset you? Does it make them feel better doing that? Well, that's a really interesting question, Tom. Is it that they do what they know bothers you, or they are, what would we say, ignoring or not respecting your wishes and then just doing what they want to do? Because there is a difference. I find that people really aren't, we might be telling them what we need and want and tell them that it bothers us, but they can't hear it many times. So I don't think it makes them feel better doing that, because honestly, and maybe this is just the healer in me saying, I don't even think they are aware, but I don't really think they're aware. And if they feel better, then they might be in competition with you. They may want to be punishing you for whatever reason, and that's their way of doing it. I think it's different in every instance. Yeah. In fact, I'm sure it's different in every instance. It just is. So yeah, I don't know. It would have to be instance by instance where we would look at it. But I tend to look at the overall energy and also what that's teaching me as well. And believe me, I have to be reminded of that frequently by many of my friends who do what I do, just in subtle ways. But there's always, if something's really bothering us in that way, and that you get upset, what is it that you can clear within you that allows them to do what they need to do? And if it upsets you, there's some kind of trigger there, or something, maybe there's a control or something that we can work on. And this isn't about blaming, like blaming them, blaming ourselves, anything like that. No, it's from looking at the big picture, if that makes sense. Maybe they're helping you clear an energy and you didn't realize it. Yeah. It's there's many different reasons that happens. I know I didn't exactly answer your question, but I hope that helps, because I think that it's so many times, and this is what we've been taught. I keep bringing up kind of resistance, and especially with empaths and people who are sensitive, that resistance gets in there. And if we resist what they're doing, or that they're not listening or not respecting us in some way, that's an expectation that we have. And maybe we just got to figure, well, you know what? I can't have an expectation with that person. So that's how I'm going to answer that. I don't know that they feel better. I don't think that they're aware of it sometimes. And sometimes you really got to sit them down and, say that, but also work on yourself. And Tom, what we're going to do in the meditation later is going to be something that will actually help what you're talking about exactly 1,000%. Ming says she's experienced pushy energy and cording. Yes, people cord. A lot of times, that's courting is a communication. It's sometimes when somebody's hurting and they want to, feel better, they'll do that. There's so many reasons why the courting. Richard says, I think most people are unaware that their energies can be overwhelming. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100,000%. They don't know where their energy is. That's why we're doing this. Yeah. John says people putting their energy on us happens all the time. Again, people are unaware. And it's really an interesting dynamic. You're so welcome, Tom. It really, there's so many. That's why I love doing this, is so that you can ask questions like that and have that sort of different perspective. Because here's the thing, when we own our own space, and I'm not talking about boundary lines, drawing a line in the sand, don't you step over that. That's just control and resistance. But when we are gently in our own space, in our own sacred space, within ourselves, we actually show others where our space is in relation to theirs. And if you don't think that's powerful, and we don't have to say it, we can just be in it. And it's like having a beautiful force field, but there's no force in it. Yeah. When we're in our space, we show people where our space is in relation to theirs. Sometimes when we feel other people's energy and we judge it as good energy or bad energy, right? And mostly we judge the bad energy, right? The good energy. But sometimes it's the good energy, right? That's a judgment, good or bad. Right? But what happens is, as empaths, we experience this energy or any kind of emotions that are in there based on our own filters, without considering that maybe, and here's one for the books, right? Considering that maybe that person is really, really good. Like maybe that person is just a kind, loving person, and somebody in their world is either punishing them, and by punishing, I don't necessarily mean they're being abused, but maybe, verbally, or there's anger, or there's a toxic person. Maybe that very good person is going through something very toxic in their own life. And what happens is they end up, because they're so sensitive, carrying around that energy. And then as empaths, we run into that energy and suddenly judge it as bad. And then we like run away from that person or don't want to be around them. Right? Because we're seeing it through our filters. And in fact, we're not even cutting through the energy that they might be carrying. Yeah. If we judge it in that way or go into effort trying to push them away or trying to push the energy away, we naturally become the effect of it. When we're in a space of constantly feeling everyone's energy and emotions and then judging that, we are going to be a DEFCON 5 survival level danger Will Robinson. I'm sorry, that's a really old reference for anybody younger listening to this. But we are going to be at a survival level, and then we need to ground and own our space. That's where that grounding and owning your space comes in. So if you're in your space, you can observe the room without feeling the room. You can go to a concert, go to a party. Yeah, I do it. Listen, I went to Mardi Gras. Has anybody been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans? I think I might have told this story before here, but I went to Mardi Gras, and let me tell you something. It is shoulder to shoulder drunk people, which is not my cup of tea. It's a lot of fun, but the amount of debauchery and craziness there is amazing. But I was staying with my now ex-boyfriend. We were staying on Bourbon Street, very famous, that's where all the party is. And we just could not get back to our hotel. The crowds were just so thick and everything. And I I turned around and I looked at him and I said, "Okay, just follow me. Whatever happens, follow me. Just don't even think about it, just follow." And I closed my eyes just in the middle of this crowd. I closed my eyes and I went like that, and I created what I'm going to teach you today, and kind of got in my space and did my thing, just really grounded. And I started to walk through the crowd, and the crowd parted. And he followed me, and we got to the hotel. He was like, "I don't know what the hell that was, but I've never seen anything like it." It was like the crowd just totally parted. It was amazing. And I'll tell you what, even I was a little shocked by that. That's one strong aura. Who knew? I did not know. So those are, we are that powerful. Yeah. So if you're in your space, you can observe the room without feeling the room. You can part the energies. And look, there's a reason for that saying. Has anybody ever heard the saying, did you read the room, or can you read the room? That kind of thing. So this is awesome. Ming says, "I saw a Buddhist monk. His force field is huge, 20 feet high above his head. He was so nice to be around." Yeah. Yeah. And, that's really interesting, Ming, also because, our aura, I have everybody pull it in about 6 feet around, but all of our auras are very, very large. And if you saw it as 20 feet above, here's the interesting thing. It probably was all around him like that as well. But that's how, what I'm going to teach you today, when you're non-resistant in that space, it was comfortable for you to have a conversation. I want to talk to him though. Gosh, that's amazing. But he was so nice to be around. So you were in his energy field, but he didn't resist it. It was an energy. I'm going to just call it an energy field of love. Yeah. And we can all do that. When we don't resist, we can have people in our space like that all the time. We can part a crowd, but we can also have people in our space without feeling like we're overwhelmed or or pushed out of our space. So much fun. I met a young person whose name is Phil Robinson. He laughed at me saying, warning, danger, Phil Robinson. Oh, that's so funny. Never heard of Lost in Space. Oh my gosh. See? Yeah, danger. That's so funny. Ming is Ming is saying, yeah, I totally fangirled in front. God, I can't, you know what? I would give money to see you fangirl in front of a Buddhist monk. Just saying. That's hilarious. That's great. But yes, this is all, it's all energy, what makes us feel comfortable. And isn't it interesting that, if his energy, if you resisted it in some way, it might not have been so comfortable. So, here's the thing, being an empath, and I know there's a couple of people on here who are like so sensitive that they don't necessarily like to go out unless they're with friends or a small group of people. You might be listening later and be in that space. Many empaths isolate. We can't necessarily spend all of our days meditating, right? I mean, we can, I suppose, but then we'd be Buddhist monks with 20-foot high auras, maybe. But when we have that deep introspective feeling of self, right? That sensitivity to others, isn't that almost a giving space? That in itself is a superpower. Not everyone wears their heart on their sleeve or takes things to heart like you do. And I'm specifically addressing it in here because each and every one of you has that big heart and is a giver and takes things very personally and very to heart. So that's just something to be aware of. Sometimes we need extra space for ourselves to regroup. And we're going to do that in just 1 minute. How about that? How did we go? I don't even understand. I mean, I know I had technical difficulties, but I just looked at the time and I'm like, I've been on here for about 45 minutes. Just talking about being an empath and being sensitive. So do you all have any questions before we jump into the meditation? Because this is going to be one fun meditation. And if you know Body of Glass and you are watching right now from wherever you are, that is fine too, because I'm going to give you a whole new twist on that Body of Glass tool as we jump into this meditation. So here we are. But for those of you, I will do my station identification. So my name is, once again, if you're just jumping on, is Debbie Tatel from Spirit Light Insight. I'm a clairvoyant, a spiritual teacher, a mentor, a guide. I do readings, healings. I offer mentoring, clairvoyant development, and I'm just adding my workshops in here because again, the technical difficulties were crazy. But if you are ready for a reading or think you'd like some help getting through some stuff, please book a session. You can use that little QR code or wherever you're watching from, whatever channel you're watching on. The link will show up in the comment section there, or you can reach me at spiritlightinsight.com and check out all the things going. Just giving you some fair warning, I am updating my website. So if there's things you see, send me a note. But also, I've got upcoming meditation work. Our holiday workshop series is in full swing. We've got Holiday Magic coming up on the 16th. It's a free 45-minute meditation to help you get your space back and connect with your joy so that you can go into the holiday season, because it's still now. Even Angela put up her tree in New Zealand. So I would love to have you in these. If you can't make the Zoom call when we do it, please, you'll get a recording the next day. So do register. And so also if you're on YouTube, in the description, there's also links to all my websites and all of that. But I'd love to have you. If you are enjoying what we are doing here, you can support this stream with a virtual tip. Again, the link will show up. If you're on Facebook, you can shoot me over some stars. I don't even know what that means yet, but you can purchase stars and support me in that way. Or if you're watching later, you can just use this little QR code here. But again, there's links everywhere and it's all appreciated. There's everything's appreciated. So I really, all of you all. So that was just, oh, yes. And wait, I should also say, and if you like what we're doing here, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share all around town, because I'd love to be creating this community of light where we can all share our comments. And if you're watching later, please do comment. I watch the comments on YouTube. I watch the comments on Facebook. So please do make your comments, especially, if you're listening here on the podcast later. So we did have a question come in. Is there a type of empath who feels like they need to clean energies in spaces? Okay, I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Like where you feel where someone feels the energy in those spaces? Sorry. And I hate that there's a delay. I wish we could have a conversation here, but I'm not quite sure. So while you're typing and kind of clarifying that for me, what I can tell you is that, yes, we can clear energy out of spaces. I do it all the time. One of the things I do as a real estate agent is I do that. I go in when I get real estate listings and things like that. I clean the energy up in the space. And there's all kinds of things you can do there. But I think that you're asking, feels like they need to clean energies and spaces. So if it's somebody that's coming into your space and they want to clean that up, not without your permission. No one has the right to clean any energy or give you a healing or give you a reading without nobody should be approaching you for that per se, or do that without your permission. Yeah. Even, when I give a reading, it's always with permission. Somebody has requested that from me. I will never walk up to somebody and say, hey, I have this feeling of whatever, or hey, I need to clean your house out. Like if I'm at somebody's house, what I do, I will be, if the energy, so if I go to somebody's house and I don't like I'm uncomfortable in their house for whatever reason, I will just own my space and ground for myself. Feeling the need to transmute energies like smog in the room. I have not heard of that. So if there is such a thing, who wants to transmute, because it's interesting the use of words, feeling the need to transmute rather than give a healing to. So I guess that's where I'm confused. It might be a little bit of verbiage, psychic verbiage, but you can clear out energy if you have me over, but I don't feel the need to clear that for anybody without their permission. I guess that's the best way I can say that. Yeah, but I've never heard of, let's say, a specific empath. I'm sure there's people that do that. I'm sure there's beings or whatever that come in and look. I had it here. I had an ex-boyfriend once who was an addict, and he shifted the energy all the time. I would go to my office and do readings. And then I'd come home and I'd be in the best space. I'd be happy. I'd be joyful. Everything would be great and clean and perfect. And I would come into my house and it felt like a bomb went off, and it was awful. He left, it left. So maybe, I don't know if that helps at all, but that's just a little bitty story. But oh my gosh, well, I don't know if I answered your question, Richard. You can send me an email, and I'm happy to clarify even more. But I hope that I clarified. I've never really heard of something like that per se, if that makes sense. So that's what I could say about that. So we are coming down to the winding down point and getting to our superpower. You're welcome. Getting to our superpower, our ending meditation, because I'm trying to keep these down a little bit. But go ahead and give yourself a breath and just be in a comfortable seated position with your feet on the floor and your back upright. Don't be driving. If you're driving, don't do this till later. Listen later. Just be seated. No strange posture. Give yourself a breath and gently close your eyes and begin to turn your attention within. We talked a lot about empaths and sensitivities and lit up a lot of energy. So begin to calm everything down and enter into this meditation with curiosity, discovery, and allowing yourself to be where you are as you are. Give yourself some space. What a great time to have space. Focus on your breath. And just that rise and fall of your chest and the air going in and transforming and then breathing out that transformation. And move your energy and attention into the center of your head. That sanctuary, that place that is quiet for you. And in that center of head space, create a space or a room that's just for you, a sanctuary. Maybe you see it as a little house on the beach, or maybe you're in a mountain clearing, or maybe you're just imagining a room around you, someplace that is safe, your own spiritual sanctuary, and then honor yourself in that space. Say hello to the base of your spine where your first chakra is located. That's an energy center that offers you safety and security and space to be who you are. This is in some ways part of your identity as a being. And this is where we ground from. So from your sanctuary in the center of your mind, in the center of your awareness, I'd like you to visualize a beautiful oak tree out in front of you that's grounded to the center of the earth. Imagine this tree being supported and loved by Gaia, by Mother Earth. And then give yourself a breath and attach that tree or sit on top of that tree. You can flatten it out and sit right on top of it. And that attaches right at that first chakra and goes all the way into the center of the earth, giving you a place to let go. To let go of energies that no longer serve you, energies that you're ready to let go of, energies from anything we talked about earlier. Grounding also makes it safe for you to use your psychic abilities, your psychic tools, your psychic techniques. When the body is safe and grounded, more of our energy can go into the upper chakras so that we can develop and strengthen those upper chakras, which is where all of our natural psychic abilities are. So from that space in the center of your head, give yourself a breath and release, and just watch that release just flow down that tree trunk and get neutralized into the center of the earth. It's going to get recycled the moment it hits the center of the earth. So just breathe and release. Grounding also brings your attention to the present, right? You know where your body is when you're grounded. This is a very powerful tool that allows you to simply be. That center of headspace is your navigation to take charge. Now go ahead and calm down that first chakra. Just see it calming down, resting a little bit. And notice whatever you're feeling or thinking or anything you're noticing right now, and just be aware of it without the need to fix it or change it. Just begin releasing. Imagine that you are entering your Zen zone, the place where it is safe, relaxed, and even energized. Just keep releasing as I talk. So this time of year, or really any time of year, but this time of year, it is common for people to become easily overwhelmed by the energy of the upcoming holidays, parties, family gatherings, shopping. Yeah. And sometimes as empaths, we feel the energy of others as dramatic as anger, sadness, and depression. And the subtle energies we might pick up that we don't necessarily notice, but we walk around with them. Those subtle energies and feelings and thought patterns, things like value and self-worth, or feeling out of place. But whether obvious or subtle, you might get what we call, in what I do, lit up, or triggered is the more common word. The more capable and intuitive you are, the more you're susceptible to these energies. I can't even talk when it's in my brain. My goodness. Give yourselves a deep breath and notice your feelings, and begin to decide, like, if you're feeling a certain way, or if you've got a certain emotion or thoughts running through your mind, notice if it's really your energy or someone else's. And then I'd like you to just begin releasing both the obvious energies, family, friends, coworkers, anything you picked up this past week. This is our weekly wrap up. Anything you carried with you, anything you became responsible for. And release the subtle energies that we didn't realize we picked up or became responsible for. Let that flow right down your grounding. It's going to flow like a beautiful waterfall. Just releasing. Let go of any judgments about energy, that it's good or bad or happy or sad, any kind of judgment, the way we do that. Just let go of the judgments. Sometimes you'll find when you look at those judgments that they're not even yours. So give yourself a breath and just let go of any of those judgments about energy. And then go ahead and let go of resistance. Resistance to crowds, resistance to people, resistance to family. Where do you resist the most? And find your amusement when you actually come up with resistance and where you're resisting. What you're resisting, how you're resisting. Again, the more sensitive and capable you are, the more easily it's possible for you to become overwhelmed. So go ahead and let go of any of that overwhelmed energy where you might have gone into resistance just because you were overwhelmed, just because there was a lot of energy there. Holy moly. Give yourselves a breath. Let's begin to let go of everyone else's energy that has affected you. Anyone else's energy that you might have picked up along the way. Just let it all go. Clean the slate. Give yourselves a breath and be right back in the center of your awareness, center of your head, in charge. Say hello to that body, your physical body. Just be aware of it from the center of your head. And then imagine a beautiful gold ball of energy, a gold ball of light, a golden sun. Just call back your energy and your life force that you might have given away or was even stuck in any kind of resistance. A gold sun helps you call it back, and then you can bring that gold sun right in through the top of your head, all bright and shiny, and fill up any place you resist, any place you let go, any place you need to be energized and refreshed. And let it also wash out any energy that's not yours. We always have to start with a meditation so that we can clear space to actually have what we're going to talk about. Yeah. But what I want you to recognize, and you can just be in that space of just breathe and release. As empaths, we don't have to experience or soak up like a sponge the energies, thought patterns, or vibrations of others. And guess what? We have a psychic technique for that. And that's why I wanted you to clear out that space and then be right back in the center of your head. Just noticing your body. So this super powerful tool, and it is powerful, make no mistake, is called Body of Glass. It's also known as Body of Light, Body of Non-Resistance. Now, non-resistance is not about being a doormat or a victim to energy, but when we're in neutral or we're being non-resistant, we're allowing people including ourselves, to be where they or we are without any kind of judgment or resistance. It's a space for becoming an observer of what we see without soaking it up like a sponge. Because when we observe, we can make clear decisions on how we want to move forward. Give yourselves a breath. I often get asked about feeling energy in a reading and how exhausting it must be. And it's just the opposite. When you're in the center of your head, when I look from my sixth chakra and not from the kind of denser, lower feeling self chakras, there's clarity without that survival level alarm bells. Yeah. So one of the things I'm going to say is that once you get your new super tool, your new super technique, I encourage you to practice it by using it when it doesn't count. In other words, you don't have to wait until the family party to try it out. Being an empath is your superpower, and that makes you a superhero. And what does every superhero need? A cape. But this isn't just any cape. It's more of a neutral cloak of many colors. Your colors. It's a cloak of non-resistance. So go ahead and just check that grounding. Say hello to that tree, that you're connected to the earth, and just be in a beautiful gold bubble of light. Be in the center of your head. And we're going to imagine and go down a very creative place, or go into a very creative place, and create this cloak of non-resistance. So out in front of you, I'd like you to see a beautiful multicolored cloak or coat. Just see that right out in front of you. Notice the gold threads woven through this coat. Imagine this coat of many colors is yours, and it's totally non-resistant. It's totally neutral. But it's beautiful. And I'd like you to take that cloak and wrap it around yourself. That cloak or coat or cape for your superhero. Wrap yourself in that cloak and allow it to come within and make you into what we're going to call that body of glass. Let that permeate every cell in your body until you are like a body of glass. And this is not glass that breaks. What's happening is you're creating this space of a body of light. And when we are in a space of non-resistance, we are a body of light. And that any energy that comes at us, any energy that is that normally we might feel is going to go right through us. So be in the center of your head and be that body of light, body of non-resistance, so that we don't become the effect of the energies around us. Notice what's happening as it transforms every cell of your body into that space of non-resistance. Notice what kind of drips off and goes down your grounding. What we resist sticks. And when we don't resist, the energy that we feel doesn't affect us. It's like a tickle. We can walk through a crowd just like I did and not have that energy put me at threat level so that it overtook me. Yeah. Be that body of light and just let all the resistance just flow down your grounding cord. Give yourselves a breath and be right back in the center of your awareness and just experience being that body of light. And you can just set your intent for this. You don't have to go through that cloak of many colors, but I just love doing that because those are your colors that you created. They're my colors that get created. And the more you use these tools, the more they work for you. And have fun with these tools. Make a game of it. As I said, practice when it doesn't count. We don't have to throw ourselves into the lion's den of, let's say, going to a concert or a wild party just to test out or prove this technique. Just use it when it doesn't count, when you're walking down the street or you're shopping at a store. You'll be amazed at the difference of what you experience. So just be that body of glass. And I love this because it's creative and it feels safe because it's all you creating it. Give yourselves a breath. Know that as an empath, you don't have to isolate, take on, or allow others to run their pain through you or be affected by the energies that aren't in alignment with your body and soul. As we talked about, people usually have no clue where their space is, but if you know where yours is, you show them. And the more you're in your space, your spirit will love you for this, your body will love you for this, because you're using everything, not your body to protect your spirit, you're using your energy. So give yourselves a breath and be in the center of your head and create that gold sun above your head and fill it with life and joy and enthusiasm. If you're jumping in late, you can still do this gold sun. Fill it with your life force energy, call it back, and then put in some qualities that you would like to have for the week. And now bring that gold sun gently in through the top of your head and fill up your whole head and body, torso, feet, legs, everything. Just let that gold sun slip right on through and begin to expand and come through your pores and your skin. Till it expands out into your energy field, your aura, and all the layers until it goes about 6 feet around you, above and below, in front and in back. You can kind of hold it into that, about that 6 feet. We don't have to go 20 feet, but give yourselves a breath. Be surrounded by that golden light, that bubble of gold that's just yours, and be that body of light. Use that gratitude and appreciation to love yourself and vibrate at love. And then finally, give yourself a deep breath and slowly exhale. Put a great big smile on your face. Be aware of your body. Say hello to yourself as the spirit that you are. And then when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and return to yourself, Just kind of move around. You might even want to take a big stretch. Bend over, dump out, shake out those neck and shoulders. What was your experience? Thank you, Angela. She says, thank you. Really appreciate everything you do. By the way, I'm reading all these because there's people that are listening on podcast on YouTube as well. So want to make sure all your comments get noted. Welcome, Franzia. I know I saw you popped in. I hope you were able to fill in with some gold suns and really fill up your energy. But I'm curious how that light body was for you, if you were still kind of hanging in there with us. I appreciate each and every one of you who do these meditations or check back with them later. I love when you listen later too. I'm trying to kind of cut some out and make them as standalones. You'll find them on YouTube as well. And I may even upload some to some of the other ones. Up to my SoundCloud and have them on my website and things like that, because I want you to have the tools. I mean, I teach the classes, right? You can always come take a class with me. We'll have Psychic Healing Foundations coming up in 2024. We've got the Clairvoyant Development starting in January 16th of 2024. But all of this, when we really start to delve into these tools, this is all how we recreate the world as we want it to be, right? In these different energies. So to wrap up our wrap up, right? Our weekly wrap up, and Franzia says she'll listen to the replay later. I know. Well, thank you for popping up. Absolutely. Thank you for coming. Richard's saying, look forward to practicing. Yes, I want to hear about your experiences, because these are tools. I have used these same tools. I'm teaching you what I know, what I do. And I have now used these. I got into this in sort of formally, and when I was assistant director at a psychic school here in Chicago. We taught these tools to thousands of people, and they're very powerful. So, but to wrap up, as an empath, when you're feeling energy, what I encourage you to do is be aware of if you're judging or resisting any of the energy you feel. You're going to feel it. You're going to sense it. Yeah, it's not, you can't shut that off. That's a natural part of you. That's actually your superpower. Right? So just be aware if you're judging or resisting what you're feeling, and then just like someone else said here, let others be where they are. Just kind of let them be, because they might be experiencing something that you know nothing about. They may be carrying someone else's energy. They may not even realize it. Yeah. So that's a question to always ask. Is it your energy? And if it's not, just go ahead and release it. And once you understand the source of your resistance, you can let it go. By the way, are you sensing a theme here to let go of resistance? Because here's the thing, we can trace back a lot of pain, whether it's physical or emotional, to resistance. There's a direct relationship to how much we resist persists. Yeah. And we're not doormats or victims to energy. In fact, we're senior to energy. Even what we judge as bad, we're senior to it. We don't have to be the effect of it. Nobody's going to give us cooties. Well, they might give us COVID, but they're not going to give us cooties. I promise you that. So it's all about releasing the resistance. We can clear it. We can ground it in our awareness. And then we can always take a stand once we clear our space. And Janet, you're so welcome. Janet says, thanks as always, Debbie. Definitely need all of these sessions and meditations. These are pretty powerful. I kind of jump in on these. And so I'm really glad that you can all be here to experience all of these meditations. And for all of you who hang with it, routinely and are with me every week, thank you so much. This went a little longer than I kind of intended, but thank you for hanging out. Again, if you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so on my booking. You can go to my website at spiritlightinsight.com/online-booking, or just go to my website, spiritlightinsight.com, and go to book a reading, right? Spirit Light Insight. Yeah, if you want to leave a tip, if you're enjoying, wrong thing. If you're enjoying what's going on here, you can certainly support the stream with a virtual tip, which is always appreciated. I do have openings. I'm going to be out of town for a memorial for my teacher who passed away a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't even know. It's been a whirlwind. But I'm going to California for about a week. And so please book your readings if it's something that you want. Oh my gosh, I will put up the booking. I've got the workshop coming up next week. So before next week's show, go pop on there, sign up for Holiday Magic, join us. You'll get the recording. It's free. It's 45 minutes and it's really a lovely meditation. If I do say so myself, I do listen to my own meditations. So that's always really good. Finally, oh my gosh, we are wrapping up here. Happy Veterans Day to all who served. I believe that's coming up tomorrow here in the US. But for anyone in the service anywhere, even though it's always kind of a reminder, thank you for your service. This is very important that we thank you, and we appreciate all you've done at whatever level you've done it. So thank you so much. That's Veterans Day for tomorrow. Again, you can find all the information on my website, spiritlightinsight.com. Next week, folks, I'm so excited to welcome psychic medium and musician Glenn Klausner. He has albums out. He is an incredible psychic medium. He communicates with pets like you wouldn't believe. So he has agreed to join us. So I'm very excited about that. And thank you. Goodness, these meditations are much appreciated, especially at the end of the work week. Thank you, Tom. That's why I do it here. So enjoy he says, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. And from me, have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful new week. And always remember to keep your spirit light in sight and shine your light. Bye-bye, everybody.